Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna do my review on the Garcia Revo ALX reel and the Spiralite Maverick rod. First and foremost, it is flipping bright out here. Yeah, that'll work. Whew. Doing this outside right now. Look at that. Can you read that? Traeger grills. Trying to get a Traeger sponsor. But anyway, nice. If you have not watched my video where I unboxed this rod and reel and some other stuff like this hat, but go check that out because I go into why I decided to go with this reel and rod and all that, all the very interesting stuff about them, all that cool stuff. Won't really go into that here, but let's start with the ALX. And yeah, it's unspooled right now because, well, you guys saw the first time I used it. The last video was the first time I used this combo. And then today I used it all day today. That video should be out on Thursday. But yeah, I was like fishing slop all day, so I actually took it apart and cleaned it and oiled and greased it and everything. And just haven't respooled it. Put it back on the rod just to have it together for this thing, but yeah, go and respool it later. But anyway, the Revo ALX. Now, when I did the unboxing, I said they're on sale. They're a $250 reel on sale right now for $180 on Tackle Warehouse and probably everywhere. And I said that's usually because for Abu, that usually means that a new gin's coming out or a new reel is coming out to replace it. But I wasn't sure. Well, I actually went through and looked again at Tackle Warehouse like a couple days ago, and it is being replaced by the ALF, which, looking at it, looks like pretty much the exact same reel. It has aluminum frame, aluminum side plates, alloy spool, and aircraft grade main gear. Pretty much the exact same thing. And then it's like 5.7 ounces, which is 0.2 more ounces than this one, the ALX. Pretty much the exact same. So yeah. But the colors are different. It's like a silver with black with like some red trim in it, which I think looks pretty cool because I like red and black. Those are my two favorite colors together. Hat, shirt. No, it is though, actually. But yeah, it pretty much kind of seems like the same thing. But anyway, so that's actually why it's on sale right now. But let's get to the review of this reel. Now, this is something I really don't care about too much, is casting distance. Smooth casting, yeah, of course, I like smooth casting, smooth retrieve, but people seem to put a lot of crap into casting distance, which, okay, I guess this is like my chatterbait, spinnerbait, crankbait, reel, and rod, so that is actually kind of important on this setup, being able to cover water pretty good and all that, so. But anyway, that last video you guys saw, I actually started out the day throwing top water and all that, and then decided I'm going to throw a chatterbait on this rod. Very first cast, sitting on the kayak, just a little chuck, not even really trying or anything, and just spooled me, actually. So that casting distance, amazing, super smooth. Went out there, completely spooled me down. Granted, this is a low profile reel, which is why I wanted it. I love that. It just feels so much better to have, you know, light, super low profile reel all day when you're fishing those shallower crankbaits and stuff. On deeper diving crankbaits, because you can bomb those 1.5 miles, not even trying, I like a bigger spool, like a 200 or 250, whatever. But on like stuff like this, chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, square bill crankbaits, those lighter sort of baits and all that, and shallower water stuff, this is fine. But anyway, so casting distance, that also has to kind of do with the rod too. It's not all about the reel. But yeah, so if you're into that, there you go. I really kind of don't care, but it was super smooth. That's awesome. So, but here's the thing, okay? Number one, I will get into this. Why I bought this reel was that it was, like I touched on, only 5.5 ounces. It's super light. It's the lightest I've ever owned. And also, it's super tiny. And it's comfortable all day. Like I said in my unboxing video, I have carpal tunnel really bad in my hands. Usually like 10 minutes, they start hurting. Like if I'm chucking and winding, it starts hurting pretty bad. Most times. Sometimes, obviously, some days are different. Some days are better than others. But this thing, I fished it pretty much all day and did not hurt really at all. I had no pain, so very little after a few. So that is awesome to me. That's what I wanted, and it was the same thing today. Actually, felt a lot better with it, and also that has to do with the rod too. The trigger is actually a lot smaller. These grips are actually super comfortable. So, you know, both kind of go hand in hand in that sense, but most of it is the reel because you're constantly holding on to that reel. Yeah, great drag on it, super smooth. It was amazing. I actually am super stoked on this reel, a lot. And but time will tell, as with any reel especially, but even rod, everything, all your equipment. We'll see how time will tell on it, especially stuff like this. This is a daily user. Will be the first rod and reel pretty much out of the house and onto the boat or kayak or bank fishing, whatever. This will be like the first one with me pretty much. So yeah, that's the Revo ALX. My first impressions on it. It's amazing. The only complaint I will have, actually, the only complaint I can find right now is for the spool tension. On a 1/2 ounce chatterbait, I already have it completely tight. Like, literally completely tight. I'm trying to turn it now and I can't. And that's for not a steady, like a big drop like I do sometimes, actually most of the time. That was actually like a, you know, where actually you should be setting it about halfway of gravity is what they say. It's a nice slow drop. It's actually where it was set, and that was completely tight. So that's kind of a thing. It's only a 1/2 ouncer, so kind of weird. But yeah, brake, you know, has the good old Abu magnetic brakes. So far, so good. Alright, now on to the Spiralite Maverick rod. Spiral wrapped rod, my first spiral wrapped rod. Talked about this in the unboxing. Number one, like I said, super light. This whole combo is like amazingly light. It's crazy. That's one thing. Now, spiral wrapped rods, they're supposed to, number one, be more sensitive, supposed to give you more casting distance, and also supposed to be stronger for your rod. You know, it's not going to put as much stress on your rod. So, let's start. We already talked about casting distance with the reel. I think a lot of that also has to do with the rod. Alright. Now, sensitivity. Like this is going to be, you guys who know my channel know I love fishing a chatterbait. That's really my number one moving bait. Spinner baits as well, but mostly chatterbaits. And then crankbaits, I like throwing square bills as well, but it's usually a chatterbait. But in all those baits, especially the chatterbait, I like to feel every tap of that bait. Alright? Like I want to feel everything in the rod and reel. Like a chatterbait, I want to feel every single chatter the whole time. Because if there's like a subtle difference, it could be a fish. A lot of times it is a fish, actually. Which people always think they hit them hard. No. But anyway, same with the spinnerbait. Especially like I like fishing single Colorado blade spinnerbaits in Rule 30 water, and that has that big thump to them. I like to feel all that. Like make sure, catch everything. If not, then I like to just know what I'm on. Chatterbaits, I like to fish towards the bottom, so I like to be able to feel everything. If I'm hitting a rock, if I'm snagging onto a weed or whatever, onto a branch, I like to be able to tell the difference. So sensitivity in a rod to me is immense. That's a huge thing. And some rods that I have, actually my deep diving crankbait rod, which is an Garcia Revo is what I use for the deep diving crankbaits, like 5, 6 XDs. Don't really throw 10 XDs because I don't fish that deep. But, my deeper diving crankbaits, I use a Veritas rod, which is also a 7'6", medium heavy. And that thing, like just throwing a chatterbait or a square bill on, has a lot less sensitivity than this thing did. And actually my older rod, whatever, had real good sensitivity too, but this thing, I don't know, it did feel amazing. And also, there were 2 fish in that last video where one of them, I remember, got caught in the weeds. I popped it out. Great way to fish a chatterbait, by the way. Fish a chatterbait like you do a lipless crankbait. Okay, there's a chatterbait tip. Fish it like a lipless crankbait. Slow roll that into the weeds. You get in the weeds, pop it out, and you will get crushed. If you're around the fish, you will get crushed. But anyway, popped it out, and 2 of the bites, actually, especially that one, were like very light. Like barely anything. And I say this all the time too, is that most of the like big fish I've caught, like most of the 8-pounders and stuff like that, and 6s and 7s and stuff, it's not like a big thump. And I like tell people this all the time, like I tell Terrence all the time, it's not a big thump. It pretty much just feels like all of a sudden it just stops. Even on a chatterbait, which is supposed to get big, vicious strikes, a lot of times it's just like you're snagged. So hook sets are free too, so except for freaking hook. But being able to tell that slight difference, where if you're dragging into a lead or if you're being stopped, like if you're dragging into something or being pulled back by something just very minusculely, that's a big deal. And I don't know if minuscule is a word, but I used it anyway. You know what I'm saying. But anyway, so yeah, maybe that's a thing. I know this rod is actually super sensitive and I like it a lot. So maybe that has to do with the spiral wrap. I don't know. All I know is it's pretty freaking sweet. Now, my last comment on this rod, it has an amazing parabolic bend, which is what you want in a rod. Okay, most rods, unless if you're gonna buy a real expensive one, like a $250, $300 rod, a lot of them. You can find some cheaper ones too, whatever. But most rods, they don't start bending until like the bottom third of your rod, or about halfway of the rod. Now, what a parabolic bend is, it pretty much evenly bends, like a banana, let's say, like a banana, from your hand on up, okay? It puts most of the leverage in your reeling hand, okay? Or your rod hand. Puts most of the leverage in your hand. Most rods, they go up about a third. Usually the last third is where it really starts to bend. Number one, that puts a lot more stress at that point, obviously. You're going pretty much straight, and then you got to bend. That's going to put a lot of stress, which in turn is going to weaken the rod. But also, you have to think of it this way. Here's your hand, and all of a sudden the bend's way up there. Your leverage is up there, so you're way behind at that point. But if you have a rod that pretty much puts that leverage in your hand, you're ahead of the game. That's where you want to control, obviously. That's where all your control is. That's what you're doing. So you're a lot quicker in your responses on fighting the fish, as well as have all your power right here instead of putting it in your rod. So parabolic bend is a big thing, and I love it. And I have a few rods like that. That Veritas actually has pretty good. It's not as good as this one, but it's actually pretty high up the rod, where it's got a good bend to it, and I like that rod a lot for that reason. And I've had some other rods, but most of my rods are the same way, just halfway up the rod is where it starts making that real big bend, and yeah, all that. You can definitely feel the difference, so that's what I'm super stoked on with this. And the grips are amazing. Actually, these are super comfortable. I don't even know what these are. Oh, they are wind grips. I didn't even look at that. Yeah, wind grips. Those are actually really good grips, which I've heard about forever. Never had a rod with them. But yeah, so that would be why they're so comfortable. Yeah, this rod and reel is amazing. So amazing, in fact, that I actually bought a second one. I actually bought the 7'6" heavy for flipping and pitching, and I bought the same model, the Maverick, which they have 3 models on Tackle Warehouse. I don't know if they have more. I don't think so, actually. But they have the Maverick, which is their cheaper one, which actually only runs for like $115. That's pretty cheap, and this thing is flipping amazing. Well worth $115. And then they have the SQ, the Status Quo, which is like $150, and then the Defiant series, I think, is their last one, and that's like $220. I was actually going to step up to the SQ for the flipping rod, and then was looking into them, and all of them have a moderate action. They're a lot slower, so they're more crankbaiting rods. So if I actually wanted a crankbait rod, that'd be the way to go. But yeah, quicker action. I don't want a moderate action on a flipping action rod. So I bought the 7'6" heavy Maverick, like my 7'6" medium heavy Maverick. So bought this for flipping and pitching. So that's how stoked I was on the spiral wrap and just Spiralite in general. They're great rods, especially for $115. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much it. I think I said everything. Hopefully. Hope that helps you out. And now you know what I think about this rod and reel. video on Thursday. Fishing video. Kayak.
Click on my logo in the upper left-hand corner to subscribe. In the upper right-hand corner is the last video I made. In the lower right-hand corner, there's a video I know you'll enjoy. And make sure to hit that like button down below as well.